Now loading Nerdgasm.
I'm pretty sure I'm a superhero. Cool.
Nice suit. Zip it, Stanley.
It's the Nerdgasm Podcast.
You'd have seen a lot more if you kept your cake hole shut.
With Alan Bailey and Grayson.
I'm ready.
What up, nerditos? I be Alan Bailey.
So, question: nerditos, is that like the Spanish term for nerds? I don't know.
Sure.
I honestly don't know.
I made it up, so
okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Who are you?
El Nerdo.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Grayson.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So, welcome into the Nerdgasm Podcast. On today's episode, just so you're aware, there are going to be spoilers throughout this episode. We're reviewing Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, as well as the hit smash anime, literally the greatest of all time as far as box office numbers are concerned, Your Name. So if you haven't seen either one, be forewarned, because spoilers for both are starting in 10,
9,
8,
7, 6, 5,
4, 3,
2,
1.
Yay! We actually shared.
I liked that one.
I know, it was kind of pretty.
That was a good one. We did that. High five. That was awesome.
We're like best of friends. Oh my god.
We're the two best friends. No, I'm not doing that.
Aww.
So Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, it's been out digitally for about a month now.
Oh yeah, for a while.
But it's been out on DVD for a few weeks now as well, so we decided to give you guys a chance to watch it, so we have.
Oh yes.
So, I don't know, what'd you think?
I like the return of Slade.
Right? Like, I liked Slade, I liked the banter between him and Robin in particular. It was very good.
I mean, when Slade was kind of like revealed to Robin, then you're thinking to yourself, okay, Robin totally like kicked his ass last time, so I'm totally down to watch Robin do it again. And unfortunately, he was not necessarily able to. Like, he was pretty much the first Titan that was taken down, and it kind of shows that Slade, of course, has come such a long way since leaving the League of Shadows.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell, like, Slade's more of a formidable opponent, which I liked. I liked the twist that Tara was once again working with Slade, and that she betrayed the team. Like,
that right there is actually part of her character. So anytime that Tara does get introduced, she's always the mole, and is always kind of like the double agent against the team. And then you start noticing that, like, oh hey, like, she's not that bad, because now she's starting to become a little bit more with the team. Like, she actually kisses Beast Boy, and everyone, of course, like, threw their arms up for that, and everyone's kind of like,
oh no, everybody liked that.
Oh yeah.
And I'll say this, I loved Beast Boy's character design and his feel. Like, he felt more like a teenager. Like, he wasn't the kid, in the corner. He was a teenager that was kind of hipstery and cool, for lack of a better term.
And he immediately jumped on that social media website. I think in the show or in the movie, it was called Twitter.
It was
Tweeter.
It was Tweeter in the thing, yeah. And I like that in the beginning scene where you see, like, the team first coming up with Starfire,
right?
Or meeting up with Starfire, I should say, that, like, he's signing up for it, and by the current day, he's got like a gajillion followers. And I loved the Kevin Smith cameo.
Yeah,
that was great. Like, the thing that pissed me off though is, like, Beast Boy goes to the podcast meeting place,
right?
And, like, no one's there, and he sits in, like, Kevin's seat, and he goes there, and he's like, Kevin, their guy. And in my head, I'm like, his name is another guy. It's Mark Bernardin, you racist fuck. Like, I was angry for Mark.
I was going to say, potentially for Mark, maybe they just didn't have time to throw him in there. Because
put his name in there. They didn't get the rights to use Mark Bernardin's name.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure if you went, hey, Mark Bernardin, can we use your name in this episode of this show? He'd be like, sure, fine.
But then also, again, I mean, Kevin Smith is a little bit bigger of a name, so I mean, I'm not trying to say that it was right.
Other guy would have liked it better.
I mean, it's almost like when someone goes to check out Nerdgasm, they're like, "Oh, Alan Bailey," because Alan Bailey's been there the entire time, and then they're like, "What about the other guy?"
I hope you know Grayson as well as you know me at this point. Fuck.
So I mean, don't get me wrong.
His name is Grayson. His name is Grayson. He has us all.
I was upset at the fact that they did not do Mark Bernard's name, but
Mark Bernardin, not didn't Mark Bernardin. You can't.
I can't say his name correctly.
Apparently.
So
You racist and cultured fuck you.
Yes, I'm racist because I can't say his name correctly.
Yes.
It's almost like people that can't say, like, estrogen Molotov cocktail.
What?
My point exactly. There's words that we can all say that others can't. So.
I can't even.
See? Right there.
But I'll say this. On that Kevin Smith cameo note, Kevin, you're a fucking asshole. You were an asshole during that interview. You're like, hey, man, that new girl, she's going to replace the girl you loved and just fucking died, right, Beast Boy? Fuck, Kevin. Like, take the dagger, stab it in the motherfucker's heart, and twist it.
But I mean,
deeper, why don't you next time?
In that universe, that Kevin doesn't know necessarily a lot or as much as he knows in this universe.
True, but
so for the most part, he doesn't know that.
So DC World, Kevin Smith is more of an asshole.
A little
and
bit
stupider.
I would say that he's not as. I'm going to say he's not as well informed as this current Kevin. Only
oh my
because,
God! You're telling me that in the DCEU, Kevin Smith says yes to Yoga Hosers too, before the one in this one does. Fuck. No, I'm kidding, Kevin. Mostly, I don't care.
So, but I mean,
I was just
he can't share all the knowledge that he knows because I mean he's in that universe. It's almost like it would be way too meta.
Well, the whole fucking thing was meta.
Oh yeah.
The fact that like Kevin, I haven't listened to the podcast where Kevin talks about this episode, but like that's got to be super fucking meta.
So all I got to say is that I love the fact that you got Kevin Smith in Judas Contract, but also the fact that they did have Tara as the double agent was kind of obvious. I mean, immediately after we saw that she was going to be making a comeback, or she was going to be showing up with the team after, what was it, Teen Titans versus Justice League?
Yeah, she like flew in on a rock there at the post-credit scene. And
then after she did that, like everyone already knew that Tara was coming, and when Tara shows up, she always like royally screws the team.
She fucks shit up.
But then, of course, I don't know if it's after every storyline, because I don't know every storyline with Tara.
Yeah.
But after a good portion of the storylines with Tara, she realizes, oh, that person was about to screw me over. So I'm going to get them, but I'm going to join the team so that way I can get them. So
it's just circle of
long
life.
story short, don't fuck with a girl that has like rock powers.
Yes. I love the back and forth between you and Starfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just Dick Grayson and Starfire were great.
My favorite part is of course the sex part.
Which
so
one?
It's like, oh, he's quite proficient when it comes to
Corey. Like that was great. That one made me LOL loud, but like the one that I liked that maybe have been a little bit forced, but I enjoyed it a lot, was like when they were mid-battle and Dick goes, let's do that thing that we did last night, and she's like, now? I love your enthusiasm, but not in front of the team.
What would the team think?
What? No. The training exercise.
but that was a good one.
That was a good one. Even like Starfire, or it's not Starfire, but Raven's little one-off comment, know who's taking the trash out. You take the trash out at home, don't you?
Oh, I don't really care who takes the trash out, but I'll do it.
Takes the trash out.
So,
I honestly liked it a lot. I even liked you had the voice actor who portrayed Roy Harper and Speedy in Justice League in Young Justice come on board to voice Roy and Speedy in this one. Crispin Freeman came on board for this one. I enjoyed that casting.
I like that. Crispin Freeman is such a fantastic voice actor.
He's got so much to his credit, and the thing that I am still in awe of was how he was able to make minor changes to his voice, his normal speaking voice, not only to do, spoilers, Roy Harper, but he did Roy Harper, he did Red Arrow, he did Jim Harper, and he did Arsenal.
Yeah.
Which were three different characters that were all clones of each other, but they all sounded just a little bit different.
I was going to say, like, two of them were clones and one was the original.
This is true, but he did the two clones and the original that were all three different, just very subtle.
And there was, like, very, very subtle changes. I mean, even if, like, he meant to, which I'm assuming that he did. So, and I mean, of course, he had
intentional.
The more adult version of the clone of Roy Harper,
Jim Harper,
who was Guardian.
Yeah.
Of course, he had to play a little bit older of a role, and then Red Arrow, who was basically Roy Harper after he decided that he was done with Oliver. Mm-hmm. Then, like that one, he's a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very well done. We're getting off track a little bit, but I think it's interesting that you had so many people harping on the internet that they hated Damian Wayne / Robin, that version, that they didn't want to have any movies with him.
Right.
And they kind of found a way to give the fans what they wanted, where they kind of kept Robin out of this one a little bit.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
I like the fact that they did kind of keep to the continuity of that, to where it's like, yes, just because people don't like him doesn't mean that we need to get rid of him. If anything, they did kind of write him off to say that he's with the Titans now. Yeah. But then they also kind of said that, okay, well, since he's the one that goes out on his own a lot, it would make sense that something were to happen to him because he doesn't have backup.
And then he gets kidnapped, and then, yeah. It was interesting that they did that. I loved the backstory with Blue Beetle.
Oh, yeah.
With him looking to volunteer because he's missing his family and he's trying to be more human. And
right. Trying to get the bug a little bit more accustomed.
That was very good, too. But the story was weak, though. I'll say it. Just bad guys kidnapping everybody just to basically steal their powers and become a monster pit of these characters. Kind of weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a storyline that we've come into a lot.
A gajillion times.
Yeah, and I mean, it's basically just the ordinary... Well, I'm not going to say ordinary because Brother Blood's been around for a long time.
Yeah, but it just...
I mean, he's already got a power, and now just because he's been around for a long time, now he wants more power. I mean, it's something that we've always... run into. I mean, look at the Lex Luthor storylines.
Yeah.
Like, he's a regular guy who wants to go up against a superhuman or Superman, and then wants that power so that we can take him down.
True.
So
I don't know. The story was weak, but the thing that I loved about this movie was just all the other characters interacting with each other, and I think that that's what they were trying to do with this movie, is show these characters interact with each other and in the world that we live in, and not so much the main plot of the movie,
right.
The bad guy, the nuts and bolts of it, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
Out of 5 batarangs, what do you give it?
I like how it's got to be batarangs, but
Nighterangs.
There we go. That's better. So only because they changed his costume.
Are you? That didn't make any sense to me. He whips out pictures from the last movie, and he's wearing his blue and black, and I'm thinking, huh?
I went back and I was watching Bad Blood, and I was like, that costume looks so good. And now he's in the red one. So, but only because they changed it. I'm gonna go with 4.5.
I knew it. I had a feeling you were gonna go 4.5.
Yeah.
You bastard, bird brain, you. It wasn't the best Teen Titans story. However, it was a great movie.
Oh yeah,
for showing the character
thoroughly
development.
Enjoyed it.
So I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Nighterangs, because it was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. So not bad. Now moving on to Your Name, which I had no fucking clue what this movie was about. I went in cold turkey, and I fucking loved it.
It's such a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend it. If you're kind of like me and you can't necessarily read as fast, they have a dubbed and also a subbed version at select movie theaters.
Yes.
If you're like me and you're kind of a slow reader, you could watch the dubbed version and still take in the entire story. And you'll still kind of get the gist of it. But of course, if you're more of a purist and you want to watch it in sub, they've definitely got that. The sub version I watched on my way back from Japan.
Yeah.
And I didn't miss any of the story. I got it. I understand. Like, I thoroughly like this movie.
I was blown away by this movie. And I put it on Twitter. This is the best movie I've seen in the last year.
Yeah.
And I've seen some great movies this last year. But this movie stands out above the rest because of how deep the story was and how well developed the characters were. The plot twists, plural, were spectacular. The art was amazing.
Oh, the artwork was absolutely phenomenal. Just the fact that they were able to get all the detail of the towns and also the night skies.
Just
when they got to see the meteor basically kind of taking spoilers, of course. When the meteor basically takes out and all, of course, splits.
When it splits and then takes out the town, it was just like, wow.
The main storyline to this is basically a
two people, male and female, who are about the same age, are linked because they basically are swapping bodies with each other for a day on the same day, and they're living each other's lives awkwardly, I might add, because they don't know each other, and because you're having a teenage boy and a teenage girl swapping bodies, of course there's going to be oddities.
Yeah, I mean, you think of if you're an anime fan, you know that they've got a certain type of comedy that is actually phenomenal. Basically, it's kind of like that awkwardness where it's like, if you're a guy, you know that you want to play with boobs, and then if you're a girl, it's like you're a little bit more respectful, I would assume.
Yeah.
And as a guy, you're kind of like, no one else is around.
You know, it just, there's some, that funny, awkward humor is great.
But of course, they do kind of grow out of it because that's not the entire premise of the story. It is actually a very nice and endearing love story. So these two characters, the main character, Taki, he ends up realizing that he likes the female character who he keeps switching bodies with, Mitsuha, and they both end up realizing that they like each other a little bit more than they kind of assumed. I mean, to be honest, like, they've only seen each other whenever they switch bodies. So they will look in the mirror and, I mean, they kind of get to see him. And later on, do you realize that there's a time difference in this movie?
Yeah, that's the thing that that's the first twist, is that there is a time difference, and that he was living in the current time and she was living 2 years ago before the meteor hit and killed her and her entire town.
Yeah.
And that was the great plot twist. And it was stunning, to say the least. And then to see him kind of struggle with, no, this can't be the end. No, I have to find a way back. And then he somehow finds a way back through drinking her spit, essentially.
Well, it was the sake that she had made.
Yeah, with her mouth through a traditional process of chewing the rice and spitting it out. And I honestly thought for a second there that when he was falling back, he was going to hit his head and kill himself.
That's what I was kind of nervous about too, because sometimes they do kind of do those tragic love stories.
Yeah, and that's where I thought it was going. And I'll say this, and this is, I think, clearly an issue in the United States that we have today with movies. Trailers give away too much. They give too much footage, too much plot.
Yeah,
I had no knowledge of footage or plot.
The trailers that they did for this movie were very, very well done. They didn't show too much. They didn't show too little. They actually showed you just enough in order to get you engaged and want to see this movie. Yeah. When I was on the plane to and from, when I was going to Japan, I didn't watch the movie only because I didn't necessarily know what to expect. Mm-hmm. So I saw the trailer, but then there were other movies that I did want to see. So I watched the other movies, and then I thought to myself, you know what? I've been talking to quite a few people while I was in Japan, and they were saying that Your Name, they were so excited about it.
Yeah.
And on the flight back, I watched the trailer, and then I was thinking to myself, okay, I've got a good while until I'm back in the States, so let's watch it. Watched it. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's made my top 5 list of greatest movies of all time that I love personally.
Yeah.
Just the story is breathtakingly beautiful. It almost got breathtakingly tragic there for a second, but it was
it does have a nice ending at the end. I mean, it's not super corny either. That's what I liked.
No. That's what I was freaking out because I was like, oh God, this is gonna be super corny. This is gonna be super cheesy. Oh, please no. But they didn't. It was very beautiful. I'll say this, if you're just now hearing about this movie and you're thinking, maybe I'll watch it, maybe I won't, and you're listening to us ramble about it, stop the podcast right now, stop the episode right now, go find this movie and watch it without watching a trailer, because it is absolutely fucking phenomenal. It is great storytelling.
If you're not into animes, I would still recommend to give this a shot, even if it's in the dubbed version.
Yeah.
And
I'll say this, watch the English dub version if you don't speak Japanese. You know why? Reading the bottom of the screen distracts you from the art and the beauty of this movie. And Funimation Studios did this, and they did a fucking fantastic job with it.
Oh yeah.
It's so fucking gorgeous.
It's I don't know what it is that they do with the artwork here, but it's just so smooth, so fluid.
Yeah.
And a lot of the westernized cartoons that we have here, they're not. I mean, the reason why I like Young Justice is because of that art style and that artwork, and it's very, very smooth. However, this one I feel just it's literally detailed. Like butter. Like you don't miss a beat, and I mean, it's just it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they capture so much of the culture too, and that it's appropriate. Yeah, and that it stays true to the people who live in this region. Yeah, and that it makes sense, and that it's so well done. The characters were developed so beautifully. I fell in love with the two characters. Yeah. And you care about them so much more than I have for almost any other movie. The only other movie that I've seen in the last couple of years that I felt this deeply about for characters so instantly was Force Awakens. Yeah. When you're meeting Rey and Finn and BB and Poe and everybody again for the first time, I fell in love with those characters almost instantly, like I did with these. Right. And that is saying something for storytelling, because I went into this movie cold fucking turkey. Yeah. And I'm not an anime fan, but I'm not an anime hater either. But this opened me up to, maybe I need to go check out some more stories in anime, because this is pretty fucking good.
Another story that I would definitely recommend, if you're a little bit darker, Death Note.
Of course.
Death Note.
Fucking knew you were going to say
that. Oddly enough, my dad actually got me into the book series and fell in love with the book series.
Fucking dark daddy you got there. It's like, hey son, let me give you this book called Death Note.
That's
Enjoy.
what I was surprised about. And someone else recommended it to him, and then he told me about it. I read the first book, and fantastic storyline. Sugumi Oba, fantastic author.
I'm watching the anime on Netflix right now, and I'm like 25-ish episodes in. Yeah. Really fucking good. Really
you gotta get the books. Also, don't forget, if you are reading Death Note, there is another book out there called Death Note, Another Note, Los Angeles BB Murder Cases. Fantastic book as well. It's a chapter book, not a manga.
I gotta check that out. And in case you guys are wondering, on Rotten Tomatoes, this says something. It's got a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Your name, and the audience score is 95. So
right on.
Out of 5 shooting meteors crashing into the Earth, what do you give it?
I've got to be like a solid 4.8, 4.9.
I got to give it a 4.99 because it is that good, and there is no such thing as a perfect movie. But this is almost
damn close.
This is as close to a perfect movie as you will ever see, because it is that good.
So just because we have a few extra minutes, what would you say that could make it perfect? If you can think of anything.
I'm being serious when I say this. Had I watched the English dub version, I would have enjoyed it more, because I would have had the time to appreciate the artwork. Okay. As opposed to me reading the bottom of the screen.
I think for me, the only thing that would have made it a 5.0 movie is if I would have saw it before getting to Japan, because after when I was leaving Japan, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, there were so many references to the culture and everything that was going on. I'm thinking to myself, like, God damn it. Like I really wish I would have saw it before.
Like I walked out of this movie. My wife took me to this movie. She wanted to go see it, and I'm glad she did. And we left the theater, and on the way out, I was like, who do we know that knows Japanese? Grayson. Let's go get Grayson. Let's go to Japan. Fucking A. I don't think he's going to be mad at that one. We'll just shove him in some luggage and put him under the plane.
I don't care how I get back to Japan. All I know is that I want to go back.
We'll knock your ass out for like 18 hours, and then...
It's only a 12-hour flight.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to be out for 18 hours. Like, I'll sleep for 11.
No, just come on. Let's go.
All right.
But highly recommend both Teen Titans, Judas Contract, and Your Name. Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Your Name especially is a phenomenal fucking movie. Best movie I've seen this year. So for the Nerdgasm podcast, I want to say thank you so much for listening/watching. If you're watching on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or on YouTube, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and leave us a review. That helps us out spectacularly with just things. Also, feel free to leave a comment because it automatically enters you into our monthly contest.
No way.
I know.
It's not like something that we do, right?
I know. It's a totally free contest to enter. You just have to like, subscribe, rate us, or leave a comment or send us a message or something. You'll automatically be entered into our monthly giveaway, which is random prizes. Could be anything from a Gamora little standee that's in our corner.
Instead of her trying to murder me.
Instead of her trying to murder your face, she could be in your room trying to murder you. So just drop us a little message. We typically announce our winners at the beginning of every month. So thank you so much for checking us out. So, it was a little weird, right?
I know, I was like...
Oh, snap, yeah. That's a nipple one.
Exactly.
That was weird. So for the Nerdgasm Podcast, I'm Alan Bailey.
Grayson.
We'll see you, nerds.
Well, that was another in a long series of regrettable life choices.